Alright, so we have a matrix on the board. So how do we solve this question? So the question says find the determinant of the given matrix A. The given matrix is A, and the matrix is 1 and 0 as our first row, and the second row is 5 and -2. So how do we find the determinant? So we find the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix by multiplying the entities in the diagonal and then find the difference of these two. Multiply also the entities in the trailing diagonal and then find the difference. So actually what you do is subtract the trailing diagonal, subtract the trailing diagonal from the leading diagonal. Okay, so this is what you are supposed to do. So find the difference between the two. So multiply this guy times this one. You are going to get the determinant of A, which is equal to 1 times 2 minus, okay, we have a -2 here, we have a -2 there, so it will be 1 times -2 minus the guy that we have there, which is 5 times 0. Okay, so now we want to find the determinant. So this guy times this one, it is -2, okay, minus 0. Okay, remove the brackets there, you have -2 minus 0. The answer is -2. So this is the determinant of this matrix that we are given here. Okay, so now this is the determinant. Okay, having the determinant, how can we find the inverse of the matrix? Okay, now the inverse of the matrix. Inverse of the matrix. How can we find the inverse of this matrix? Okay, so don't forget this matrix is 1, -2, 0, and 5. Okay, and our determinant of A is equal to -2. Now, how do we find the inverse? So for us to find the inverse, the formula for inverse is the inverse of A is equal to 1 over determinant of A, okay, determinant of A times the adjoint, okay, times the adjoint. Now, if you check here, we know here we have 1. The determinant we've already calculated is -2. Now, you are supposed to find the adjoint because it's what we don't have in the in the formula there. So now, that's our determinant. How do we find the adjoint? Okay, so how do we find the adjoint? So let us find the adjoint. Now, the adjoint of A is equal to what? How do you find the adjoint? So the way you find the adjoint, you swap the entities in the in the leading diagonal and multiply the entities in the trailing diagonal by negative. Okay, so now swap the entities here. So you're going to have on top there you have 2 and down there you have 1. So we are swapping these. Okay, so this one comes on top, this one comes down there. Okay, now these multiply them by negative sign. So when you multiply 0 by negative, it will still be 0. Okay, when you multiply 5 by negative sign, you're going to have -5, and this is our adjoint. So let's put our adjoint here. Adjoint is -2, 0, -5, and 1. Okay, this is our adjoint. Now, having the determinant and the adjoint, we are going to find the inverse of A, which is equal to 1 over determinant of A times the adjoint of A. Alright, so now the inverse is equal to 1 over the determinant, which is negative 2. We substitute in the formula there, so we're going to say times the adjoint. What is the adjoint? Our adjoint is actually negative 2, 0, and negative 5, 1, like that. This is our adjoint. Now, having our adjoint like this, what are we going to do? So now, we're going to have our guy like this, half times the adjoint. Okay? Let's write it properly, like that. Yeah, like that, 0, 1, like that. Alright, now we have this guy there. Let's find our inverse. Let's find our inverse. Let's distribute the half inside here. By the way, you can end here, you'll still be marked in GCE or in grade 12 exams. You'll still be marked. You can also distribute this guy. Negative times negative is positive. We know that. And then now 1 times 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2. So we're going to have 2 divided by 2. Okay? Then here we have 1 times this guy is 0 over 2. Okay? Then 1 times 5 is, by the way, we have a negative here, so this guy will cancel. Then we are going to have 5 over 2. And we are going to have negative 1 over 2. Okay? Like that. Right. Let's bring it here. Alright. Let's divide there. We are going to have 1. There we have 0. There we have, how many times can 2 go there? Is 2. Remainder 1 over 2. Okay. Then there we have negative half. Okay, negative half. So this is our inverse. So this is our inverse matrix. This is our inverse matrix. Okay.